Dub Nation. Let's get off of that.
Nation.
Dub Nation. How you feeling out there after game one?
Warriors win 123-107. Game
Woo-woo.
one. Big victory for the Dubs because a lot of people were questioning them coming into this game, questioning their ability in the series, questioning Steph Curry, questioning the ability to be able to stop Jokic, questioning Draymond and his defensive ability.
Yep.
There was a lot of doubts coming for the Warriors, and a lot of people had the Nuggets winning this series easily.
Stupid people.
Easily.
All those doubters and all those question marks, I had none of them.
Me either.
You know, and again with the media and these generated narratives because they need something to talk about. No. Like, the Warriors are fine. They were on a 5-game win streak going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was without Steph Curry. So that right there, folks,
that
is
was my
the momentum.
only question mark. Was what are we going to do with Steph? How is he going to respond? And how is he going to play in his first game back? He answered all those questions.
Oh, yeah.
He played well. He
Yeah.
was, I want to say, plus 17.
Yeah, I have all the plus minuses right here.
Yeah. Let me hear it. I believe it was plus 17, though.
Oh, shoot. Oh, yeah, I think he was plus 17. I got the starting 5 plus minuses. I did a deep dive into this, and we'll get into it. What do you think of Curry coming off the bench?
I don't like it.
I loved it. And he won't come off the bench again.
I didn't like it because of Curry and who he is, and I feel like he doesn't deserve that.
Oh, no, no. He came out and said he wanted to come off the bench.
I realize that. I feel like just being Steph Curry, he probably shouldn't, but as a game plan, I liked it a lot.
If Steph Curry comes to me and tells me he wants to come off the bench, Steph Curry is coming off the bench. And it's not a respect thing. I hate that narrative. Starting is not it's meaningless. Are you closing
modern
games?
Modern day NBA.
Are you closing games?
Closing the game.
Because you can start a game and only play 12 minutes and have zero impact.
Yeah.
You can close out a game, only play 12 minutes, and you could be the hero. You know, starting the game literally has no impact on the game. And it shouldn't matter. And I think it only matters to fans. I don't think it matters to players.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked you is because I'm going to go back to Klay. Completely different situations. Klay hasn't played in 2 years. Steph's played all season. Steph's not going to need the ramp-up time that Klay needed. Klay also needed to find rhythm on the court with the starting 5 because Klay would be starting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole needed to learn his role as a 6th man and go through those growing pains because that's what he's going to be in the playoffs. Will he make spot starts? Yes. Does he have the ability? Absolutely. Where is he most valuable to this team? As a 6th man, balling out in the second unit when you're going against scrubs. What that is going to have to do is you're forcing a team to leave in some of their starters to try to guard you in that second unit, which is going to tax them. Because when that Warrior first unit comes back out, you're done.
Especially when you're looking at a team like the Nuggets where it's Jokic versus the world.
Yeah, and you saw how beat up Jokic was halfway through the third quarter. His body language was done. Like, he was sucking wind, and he was ineffective in the fourth.
No, and that's what a lot of people have been saying. Just let Jokic beat you because everyone else can't.
Yeah.
So let Jokic put up 40 points. Who cares?
That's why I'm not afraid of Jokic. Jokic was 12 for 25. I'll take that every day because he's a 7-footer and gets most of his points at the rim.
Yeah.
So that means you're forcing him to make jump shots. You're getting him tired, so he's missing down low. Dub Nation, the Warriors' tallest player, 6'9", and Kevon Looney. And Kevon Looney played really well against Jokic, and so did Nemanja Bjelica. Bjelica played phenomenal defense in stretches against Jokic and got slammed in slander all weekend on Twitter. I had to go back and forth and unfollow this dude who I normally respect his opinions, never agree with him, but I respect him because he came out of left field and was criticizing Bjelica for being a +1 ± when he's a 10th person in the rotation.
Yeah.
Literally, you're dissecting the 10th man in the rotation's game
for having a good game.
When he had a good game.
Anytime you're up in the +- you're having a good game.
In 15 minutes, Bjelica played strong defense against Jokic. In 15 minutes, Bjelica took Jokic in the paint for off of 2 buckets, like had a great big man move against a 7-footer. Bielitsa's 6'9",
Yeah.
and he's not that athletic.
No.
But he went 3 for 6 for 8 points. He got 3 rebounds and an assist in 15 minutes. That's great.
Yeah.
For your 10th man on the bench to have that kind of production in 15 minutes, you're taking that. Every team in the league is taking that in playoffs. This was the most complete, top to bottom, start to finish win I've seen from the Warriors in a long time.
All year, at least.
Every person was a contributor in some way, shape, or form, except for the guys that were out of the rotation that played garbage minutes to close out the fourth.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was our first full game with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and our core guys.
Technically, but Curry coming off the bench, so I wouldn't put it in the first game of all of them back.
Yeah.
I would limit that because Curry only played 22 minutes. That's going to go up at least 10 more. But I will wait till tonight, and if Curry's in the starting lineup tonight, I will be excited about this being the first game back.
Yeah.
For the core.
So do you expect him to start tonight?
I think so.
I believe so as well.
So.
Yeah.
So going back to the Clay thing, it's not an ego thing on this team. It's not a respect thing. It's not an ego thing. The starting to coming off the bench. That's not this culture. Never has been. And the only ego that came in was Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And it's just Draymond Green's got an ego,
but
it's a different situation because he doesn't put his ego above the team. His attitude goes above the team, but it's not a me. It's we're brash. It's we are doing this. It's we as a team. He is a team first guy, even though sometimes his antics put himself above the team. And I think that's fair.
I think that's you hit it on the nail.
So you don't have that ego of starting coming off the bench. The reason why they stuck to it and were adamant was because that was the only way for Clay to find his rhythm. They talked about it coming in the radio this morning. I switched over to KMBR. It's much better for my mental health. They were talking about Kirk came out in an interview, was talking about Steph and him coming off the bench. And something they learned from Clay starting was, since he was on a minutes restriction, there were periods of time where he would go cold when he was off the court because you factor in real time. That fun. You factor in the real time versus game time, and he was sitting for like half hour sometimes and getting cold, then having to come back in, lose his rhythm, have to try to find his rhythm again. Whereas Steph, by coming off the bench, his actual playing time was more compressed. He had less downtime between court time minutes, which that right there makes complete sense if you think about it from that standpoint. So look at it that way and stop trying to place ego in it and place fans' expectations are not the team expectations and not the player expectations.
Steph has no ego.
No, he came out and said, "I want to come off the bench." Maybe because he also saw Clay go cold when Clay was kind of going through those first few games back.
Maybe he also saw Jordan Poole have 30 points, 9 for 13, and 5 for 7 from 3.
I honestly think it has zero factor in Steph's decision.
No, I mean, well, that's obviously this is after the game, but
beforehand, Jordan Poole was balling
out.
But that Steph's not being like, hey, give the young guy a chance to start.
Because
teams don't do that.
No,
fans do that.
Fans do that.
Media does that.
I think that Jordan Poole should come off the bench just because he's so valuable in that position. But him starting last game was not a drop off.
No, it wasn't.
Which was that surprising? Not really.
Because
he's been playing so well.
Anytime you don't have Steph Curry, in the starting lineup, you're right. There was no drop off between the starting lineup and there was no drop off for stretches when Steph was out. Like the last 5 games, they were on a 5-0 streak. Yeah. What time is it? 11:23. Okay, I'm gonna go over some numbers here. So, in the last 3 games of the season, Klay Thompson was averaging 33 points.
Big.
That's in the last 3 games. That's his stride. Klay's back. Like Klay's offensive game is back. His defense
still not there yet.
Still not quite, but that's
Can
because
you expect that though?
Yeah. I actually thought his defense would come back sooner, but I think it's playing with new pieces, right? This isn't the team Clay played with 2 years ago.
No.
It's completely
Not
different if
even
you're being
close.
honest,
Not
right?
even
The only
close.
guys that are the same were Steph and Dre, and Steph came off the bench, and they all three, like you said, haven't been playing together. So it hasn't been great, but 33 points to come in, and what did Clay have? He had 19 points. He was 7 for 15, but
Yeah.
he was 5 of 10 from 3.
Yeah.
You're taking 19
take
points
that.
from Clay.
We'll
That
take
that
that.
is Clay Thompson. The 15 attempts, Clay for his career averages 17.
Yeah. So it was a typical Clay game.
Yeah, and so I think that was great. I'm gonna go over minutes because we talked about Jokic getting tired, and Jokic looking beat up. His arms were red. He was having to bang like Looney. Man, you cannot give Looney enough credit for what he did against Jokic. Is it sustainable? I don't know. We'll have to see. But Jokic did not have a good game,
No.
especially by Jokic standards.
By
Did
Jokic
he-
standards, 25 points is a bad game.
Well, no, but not even the 25 points. It's the 12 for 25.
Mhm.
That's the bad part. He shot 12 for 25. This is a man who lives at the rim, and you're missing that many shots. That's not a good game. Now, is he going to get his at the rim? Of course he is. He's 7 foot tall, and he's got good footwork for the most part. Except they started calling travels on him when he got tired because he started dragging those feet.
Jokic 0 for 4 on threes as well.
Yes.
That's big.
And they were stretching him out on defense and making him run.
Yeah.
When you're making him run on defense, wear him down.
What you were saying earlier, I mean, 12 for 25 is huge for Jokic because he averages almost 60% from the floor.
Yeah.
Almost 60%. That's nuts. And to hold somebody under 50%? Wow.
Another thing I like too is they held him to 10 rebounds.
Yeah. That's big.
You
And
know what?
6 assists for
I will-
Jokic.
which
6
is-
assists is nothing.
Which means also too he was getting tired and having to pass off a lot because I'm pretty sure most of those came in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I will. You know what? If you tell me that that the Warriors are gonna give up 25 points and 10 rebounds and 6 assists to Jokic for the rest of the series,
We're winning every game.
Every game.
Sweeping.
yeah, it's a sweep.
That's an easy sweep. And the fact that Jokic played 35 minutes. So he played for almost the whole game. He didn't play that well.
Yep.
Draymond locked him up. Kevon Looney played good defense against him. Like you said, Bielitsa played
Bielitsa.
good
Even
defense
Otto
against him.
Porter,
Otto Porter, you can't talk enough about that guy.
man.
He's a stud.
So check this out. So the Nuggets starting 5, all of them were minus in plus minus. The
Wow.
entire starting 5.
Every single player.
Guess who led in minus? Jokic with minus 19.
Ooh.
Guess who was next? Will Barton at a minus 14, and he was the second best player on
And
the court.
there's Will Barton's supposed to be the Warriors killer.
He was the second best player on the court and had the second worst plus minus. 4 of the starting 5 had double digit plus minus.
That's wow.
Wow. I have not heard that talked about at all since Saturday on anything I've paid attention to on Twitter, sports media, anything.
So remember when the Warriors had the best defense in the league?
Boom. Right there. Their entire starting 5 was minus on their plus minus. That means Nemanja Bjelica with his +1 had a better plus minus than the entire starting 5 of the Denver Nuggets. And people out there, Chester, I'm talking to you, Chester Eugene, talking straight to you. Bjelica had a better plus minus than the starting 5 of the entire Denver Nuggets. And you're out here criticizing and trying to dissect his game when he goes in 15 minutes, 3 for 6 with 3 boards, an assist and 8 points in 15 minutes. And he played great defense and stretches against Nikola Jokic, a
You
7-footer.
You can't ask
Jesus.
For that. You can't ask more from him.
Man, yes.
And can we talk about this? Is Nikola Jokic the best second round pick of all time? He has to be, right?
I mean,
He has to be.
Maybe, yeah. I'd have to go through and see
You have to go through.
history. I think overall career and accolades wise, Draymond Green might beat him.
Really, he might win back-to-back MVPs. If he does that, then there's no
then
question.
there's no. I mean, I think I'm just looking at career totality. I don't think Jokic is going to win a championship.
I mean, yeah. If he had Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., they would be a different team. But
Yeah.
I don't
They're
think they
still
beat the
beatable.
Suns. I don't think they beat the
No,
Suns.
I honestly,
I don't
I
think
even
they beat
with
the Bucks.
even with those two, I don't think they beat the Warriors. A healthy Warriors.
I think
squad.
it would be a 7-game series for sure.
Yeah, I honestly think out of every single team in the NBA, the Warriors are best built to neutralize big centers. They've done it all year. They're the only team to do it all year. Literally, the only team.
Besides the Celtics. But the Celtics have the best defense in the league.
I mean, are they really neutralizing Celtics? Don't they have a 6'11" guy? Don't they have two 6'10"
No,
plus
they got
11?
they got some big guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But they play really good
Then
perimeter
you're not.
defense.
Yeah, but that's not neutralizing centers.
Yeah.
That's completely not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a team, the tallest player all year, 6'9", and they neutralize centers because they've had one of the top defenses. They had one of the top offenses. They're running through teams that have big centers because they're running them off the court.
So, with the whole narrative before this series started and the Warriors being in trouble, with this convincing victory, do you think that changes that? Do you think that people are going to start hopping back on the bandwagon saying that this is a championship level team?
Yes.
Or do you think we should pump the brakes?
No, people are, because that's what they do. They knee-jerk reaction after every single quarter, let alone every single game.
Because I personally think we should pump the brakes.
No, I'm right where I was at. And in fact, look how good they looked.
They looked really good. But it was one game, first game, at home. I'm not saying that the Warriors aren't going to win this series at all. But what I'm saying is that we got to pump the brakes. It's just one game. We still have 3 more to win. And the Nuggets are a good team.
I'm not saying they won the championship.
Yeah.
I'm saying they are championship contenders.
They are a caliber, yeah.
And it's not just one game. It's an entire season. We've seen them. The whole first half, they were the top team in the league.
Yeah.
That's not one game. That's a half of, and actually more than a half, because the All-Star game started late this year. Pre-All-Star game, they were the best in the team, no doubt, in the league. You can't even argue that point. Now, yes, injuries are the only reason why this second half of the season they weren't the top team in the league.
They were derailed.
So this is only, you're right, one game that we've seen them at full strength, and look how they played. And that's the first game at full strength. Imagine tonight game 2 with exciting. A little bit of chemistry. Like, yes, pump the brakes. They haven't won the championship. But don't pump the brakes because no one's beaten this team at healthy in 7 games.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. But I just think that Warriors fans get a little too excited after one win.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's everybody.
Yeah. But I can't deal with the disrespect that the Warriors have been getting because of Jokic. And Jokic is one player. The Warriors have a team. Jokic could score 45 points and lose.
Yeah. And
he probably will tonight.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe not tonight. I honestly think the beating he took on Saturday is going to affect his game today.
If he's back-to-back MVP, he comes out and puts up 40-plus points tonight.
Are they announcing that today?
I don't think so. Not today.
Oh, well, who cares?
But I'm just saying,
but
if you are the caliber of player...
no. I mean, maybe, but I don't see it. He got the tar kicked out of him on Saturday. Like, anybody that watched that game, they even talked about on the national broadcast halfway through the third quarter, he was sucking wind. His hands were on his knees. He couldn't move after that.
Well,
and that's not even a full game.
When you're built like a tub of lard.
Exactly. And he's only had one game off, and he goes again tonight. I don't see much from him. And then I also don't see him going up to Denver in altitude and having that much of a...
Yeah.
Like,
I totally agree.
I honestly think Jokic will put up some numbers, but he's toast for this series. And they just showed why.
Warriors in 5?
Yeah, I Warriors in 5. I got Denver winning 1 game in Denver, and I got the Warriors winning in 5. Because Jokic is neutralized, and I think they will neutralize him. He'll go off, but nobody else will. I mean, Will Barton will have his. say they both score 40. That's still only 80 points. And 80 point, you know, where are you going to get the other at that point 30 at least from everywhere else? Like they only had 33 bench points.
They remind me a
As it
lot
was.
of the Portland Trailblazers of a couple years back.
Yeah.
Where it was Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Or bust.
you
Yeah.
let them beat you.
Ride them or bust.
You let them beat you, but nobody else can.
Yeah.
So I think that the Warriors could easily win this series in 5 if they continue playing at a high level, if Curry can come back and still play at a high level, which he's shown that he can. He had 16 points. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he did shoot the ball well from 3, which you're going to expect that from Curry. But if Thompson can put up 20 points a game, if Poole can put up 20 points a game, and Curry puts up 20 points a game, we're going to win in 5 or less games.
I'm going to, so we talked about plus minus for Denver. So it's only fair we talk about plus minus for the Dubs. So they're starting 5. I'm just going to run through. Clay, plus 5. Jordan Poole, plus 7. Andrew Wiggins, plus 16.
Wow.
Draymond Green, plus 21.
Holy moly.
Draymond Green scored 12 points, which I've been saying.
You saw that 3 that he hit in whose eye? And it was just a no thought 3-pointer in the
No hesitation.
in the third quarter.
Yeah. Boom.
Boom. I've never seen Draymond do that. I've never seen him do that.
I have been saying on Twitter and on these airwaves through 2 shows now, 2 different sports talk shows. Draymond Green scores 10 to 12 points a game.
We win.
Nobody's beating the Warriors.
Nope.
Nobody. I've been saying if he takes 5 to 7 shots and scores 10 to 12 points, Draymond Green was 5 for 7, 1 for 2 from 3, 6 boards, 9 assists, and 12 points. Like, literally, that is what I'm excited about. Draymond Green being a little bit more aggressive on offense like that, and like you said, knocking down that 3. All he has to do is be that threat.
Yeah.
He could go 0 for 3 next game, and he's going to get guarded on all 3 3-pointers because he just took that no-doubter, and the Denver Nuggets are going to remember that.
Is there a player that elevates their game more than Draymond in the playoffs?
I know a player that talks about elevating it more in the playoffs. LeBron James. Draymond Green's actually flipping a switch.
But
and
he
flips
literally
the switch.
flips the switch and he turns into a different player, a completely different player. Offensively, all year, we were asking for Draymond to shoot the ball more.
Yep. And
he even said that, come playoff time,
he will.
I'm going to be aggressive.
Yep.
And look what happens. Game 1, he shoots the ball 7 times. That's a lot for Draymond Green.
Let's that was the starting 5. Let's go through some other notable plus minutes. Andre Iguodala. In 13 minutes, he had 2 rebounds, 4 assists. That's not why he's in there. He's in there to be on defense. With no points, Andre Iguodala was a plus 11. That's how you know he's in there on defense.
That's how you know that he's in there and being a leader.
Plus 11.
Yeah.
We already mentioned Bielitsa was plus 1, which I'm taking that every day of the week. GP2. We haven't even mentioned GP2 yet. I've loved this guy since he first...
This should be Gary Payton, the second show.
We
love him.
I have been talking about him literally since his first minutes playing as a Warrior back in the beginning of the season. He had 22 minutes. He had 5 points, but 3 boards, 2 assists. But again, he's in there for defense and energy. He blocked Jokic.
Yeah, that's nuts.
He
He's
was
6'3".
Yeah, if he's
maybe.
shorter than
He might
no,
be
he's
6'2".
listed. He's listed at 2.
Yeah,
6'2", so he might be 6 foot. So he was in the game, and I tweeted this. In a matter of seconds, he had a deflection, he had a rebound, and a block shot on Jokic in less than a minute of coming in the game for the first time. That you can't. So all of that, and with 5 points, he was a plus 12.
Wow.
A plus 12. Now, he did play 22 minutes.
Folks, these are our bench players we're talking about.
Otto Porter Jr., who doesn't get talked about much, but he is a stud on defense. Like, he can defend for being your 8th guy on the bench, 9th
also
guy.
One of our biggest guys.
Yes, he's a big body. He can bang down low, and he can give you some points. Now, he didn't have a great night, points-wise, but he's plus 21. Otto Porter
Wow.
Jr. is plus 21.
Plus 21 off the bench.
The entire if you take out the garbage minutes and the garbage time Warriors, and if you look at the actual rotation, the guys that got minutes, there was not a single minus player.
Well, I mean, we did dominate the whole game, but at the same
Well, no,
time, that's nuts.
They didn't dominate. It was within a 1-2 point. Denver had the lead most of the first half. Like they were jockeying back and forth. Now Denver only got up to a 6-point lead.
Yeah.
The Warriors got up to a 24-point lead, but that was the second half. The Warriors dominated the second half, but the first half was back and forth, and you can kind of feel the Nuggets weren't backing down. The Warriors weren't backing down in the first half, and they were competing. I think they were pretty neck and neck. Now, I know we're starting to run. I could talk about that Warriors game for 3 hours. 2-hour show today is not enough.
I do want to get into Debo Samuel, though.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up the Warriors with this because I got a whole bunch of other stuff. Maybe I'll go to Twitter. Maybe I'll just do a podcast or something later if I have time. The new death lineup.
It's more than just a 5-man lineup, though.
But I'm talking about the new one, and that is Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Jordan Poole.
I love it.
They went on an 18-4 run with that lineup.
I love it.
18-4 run with the tallest person being Klay Thompson at 6'7".
6'7".
Klay Thompson is the tallest at 6'7", and he's a wing guard that does not play down low. And they got defensive stops. Now, I talked about this